morning and welcome on Hunters Bay Radio. And let me just turn the pot down here. I am very happy to welcome our guest today. Dr. Jim Bjork is with us, and also from Waterloo over the telephone, we hopefully have Carole Clinch. Carole, good morning. Can you hear us?
Good morning. I hear you.
Oh, there we go. Great. Technology at its best working. And welcome, Jim.
Hello.
Now, Jim, can I ask you, before we get started talking about today's topic, we are talking about fluoridation in water.
Yes, sir.
And by profession, you are what most people would consider an eye doctor. So what got you involved in finding out a little bit about fluoridation and going to the extraordinary steps that I think that you have done by becoming an activist against fluoridation in the water and to bring people up to date? You most recently went to the District of Muskoka Council, the District Council, and made a presentation against fluoridation of the water. So can you tell us a little bit about where this all started and came to the conclusion that ended up with you making this presentation towards District Council?
Thanks, Jeff. Sure I will. I started investigating diet and our food supply after I became diabetic. Spending hours and hours and hours, I found some of our public health policies regarding diet were misguided and untrue. I investigated pesticides and herbicides, food production, hormones and antibiotics in our meat production, genetically modified foods, environmental pollution, and eventually fluoridation came up. And the more I read on this topic, the more unbelievable I found it was. I've had fluoridated water for 16 years. I've had to replace 8 teeth recently for about $5,000. My last tooth cost me $1,000. I don't drink my tap water anymore. It would cost me $4,000 to filter this stuff out. Then I heard about the push in Waterloo to take the fluoride out, and I decided to get involved.
Okay, so Carole, how did you come across this anti-fluoridation stand that you have?
Well, my story is a personal story. I had been diagnosed with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, which is chronic pain, for 12 years. And I found that when I consulted some international experts on fluorosis diseases, I learned that if I discontinued fluoride from my diet as much as possible, my symptoms of fatigue and my symptoms of diffuse pain disappeared. So from my own case study, I became engaged for the past 4.5 years in focusing on the research related to fluoride toxicity.
Okay. Now, in Waterloo, do they put fluoride in the water?
In October of 2010, we had a referendum which the citizens decided to discontinue the use of fluoridation in drinking water. Guelph and Cambridge and Kitchener have never fluoridated. They all had referendum in which they voted to not use this stuff. The intelligent city of Waterloo finally decided last year to stop as well.
Okay, now, how does this reflect with regards to most cities in Canada? Do they generally fluoridate their water, or are most unfluoridated?
In Canada, we do not have recent statistics, but from 2008, there were about 40% of the communities or the citizens of Canada that received fluoridated municipal drinking water. But since 2010, there has been an accelerated movement of more and more cities to turn the fluoride off. Unlike many problems in our world, environmental problems or health problems, this problem is really, really simple to solve. All you have to do is turn the tap off and save taxpayers a bundle.
Okay, now, Jim, are we drinking fluoridated water here in Muskoka?
Yes, we are, Jeff. I'm sorry, I do not know when they turned the tap on, but currently we have fluoridation in the water, yes.
Okay. And so the fact that you went to speak before our district council on this matter, are they actively debating whether they should turn it on or turn it off?
Yes, they are. At the present time, yes. Okay. There's another meeting on March the 14th,
okay.
District Council.
All right. Now, to the average person, we've all been sold that, fluoride in the water is a good thing. That's my perception of our water supply. We've got fluoride in it. That's good for it. It's good for our teeth. Now, you're telling me that that's not the case.
The evidence is telling us that is not the case, Jeff. I will speak a little bit, and then Carole, if you would fill in where I maybe missed the cracks. It's an unethical procedure. If it's considered medication, there should be arrangements made for follow-up on the health effects of fluoride, and there is none. There's also a freedom of choice issue. If someone decides that they don't want fluoridation in their water, and they live in a public water main, then they are faced with taking heavy filters to take it out of their water, and they can be very expensive. There are numerous health effects from fluoridation, which are well documented, particularly on fluoridealert.org, which people can go to. It's an amazing thing. They suggest we use a pea-sized amount of fluoride toothpaste on our toothbrush, and be certain to spit it all out. On the previous toothpaste packages, there was a warning to call the Poison Control Center if someone swallowed this. The same amount of fluoride is in an 8-ounce glass of water, and yet we don't have a warning on our tap saying, don't drink more than one glass of this. Even if you do drink more than one glass, you should call a Poison Control Center. We are free to drink as much tap water as we want.
Well, I remember, toothpaste boxes years ago used to, always have the word with fluoride on it. I don't necessarily see that too much anymore, but it's replaced by, some other marketing, tag word, I guess, to try and get you to use toothpaste. And I've always wondered what was in toothpaste.
It is sodium fluoride that's in the toothpaste. Naturally occurring fluoride is calcium fluoride. And the stuff that they put in to fluoridate our water is called hydrofluorosilicic acid. Now, that's a different kettle of fish entirely. It's a product of the toxic waste, a product of the fertilizer industry and our aluminum industry. There is numerous contaminants in that substance. In trace amounts, no question. Again, the problem is, how much water are people drinking? This water is also used in our food production, so there's extraneous sources of fluoride which are unmeasurable. 90% of the fluoridated water we do use goes down the sink or down the drain as toilet wastewater or shower water or car wash water, lawn water. The toxic substances come in, we put it in the water. As they're coming in, if it fell off a truck, it would be an environmental hazard. Once it comes out through our system, we don't reclaim the fluoride, and it goes right into the effluent. So there's huge amounts of fluoride being released into the environment. Fluoride is a toxic substance. It's lethal to fish. It's lethal to animals. So it's a pretty funny situation.
Wow. Now,
go
ahead, Carole.
I'm just going to qualify. We have identified that the contaminants found in every sample we've looked at in Ontario all contain arsenic and lead. Now, arsenic and lead, it is known that there is no safe dose for these contaminants. So the question your listeners must ask is, if there's no safe dose, why are we adding these contaminants unnecessarily to drinking water? And can we be absolutely sure that if we ingest this stuff in a small amount every day for our entire lives, will they cause harm to us? And that is an unanswerable question. We also know that every tanker truck that fills up your tanks at your municipal water facility contains about 1 pound of arsenic. And we also did a calculation showing that we are adding 840,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools of this contaminated drinking water to our source water in Ontario every year.
Oh, so excuse me, arsenic and lead, how does that factor into the fluoride equation? Is that a separate thing, or is it somehow...
These are some of the contaminants that are contained in all of the fluorosilicates that are used. They independently are considered to be neurotoxins and carcinogens. But the problem is we have a large and growing body of scientific evidence now demonstrating that fluoride, the fluorosilicates used, will increase the lead leaching of the pipes, the lead pipes and the brass fixtures that are used in all infrastructure. So we have 2 case studies in the United States showing that when you stop using the fluorosilicates, the lead levels in the drinking water dropped. We also have a number of what we call epidemiological studies showing that when you stop using the fluorosilicates, or when you use the fluorosilicates, the blood levels of lead increase in children's blood. So there are interactions between the fluorides, the fluorosilicates, and the lead, and there are interactions between fluoride and aluminum that is used for flocculation.
Okay, wow. So Jim has just handed me a list of contaminants in fluorosilic acid, and some of this I understand, and some of it I don't. Antimony. I'm not sure what that is. Do you know what that is?
Trace element. I'm not aware of the health effects. I know that when you have your toxic, at least heavy metals checked by, for instance, a naturopath, that's one that they check for.
Okay. Arsenic, of course, which has just been mentioned. Beryllium. Cadmium. Copper, obviously, at the tap. Lead at the tap. Mercury. So, are you saying, Carole, that there's mercury in our water?